Hello everybody and welcome to sunny Florida. Today we're taking a look at the 2019 Sea-Doo Spark Trixx. Now the Spark Trixx has been on the market for a couple of years, but for 2019 it gets some crucial upgrades that makes it more fun and easier to use, and we're going to put them to the test. So in this video I'm going to hit the water, we're going to do a top speed run, see how fast this thing is, and then I'll see if I can do one of those awesome water wheelies, hopefully without falling off. You'll have to wait and see. Let's get to it. Let's start off by just looking at what changed for 2019, and probably the biggest addition is this thing right here. That is a Bluetooth audio system, which of course is pointed directly at the rider, so while you're out there on the water, it works well. But then one of the neat tricks is over down in here. You'll see, you pop that handle, and that entire thing comes off. And what's even cooler than that is it was designed to float. So you can throw her out there, have your tunes pumping in the ocean, the pool, whatever you want. And then when you're all done for the day, grab your system and pop it right back on the front of your Spark, and it's got a nice solid connection. So pretty cool way to keep your tunes with you out on the water. So this was actually borrowed from Skidoo. It was a snowmobile system to help raise and lower the handlebars. So when you're standing up on this machine, you want these bars nice and tall so you can really get to them, and it's, you know, more ergonomic. And then when you're sitting down, you can lower them and then simply tighten that clasp, and they're good to go. Now there are a couple other things that are unique to the Spark model. First of all, it does have a variable trim system so you can adjust the angle of the jet, but here on the Spark, it goes both higher and lower than on any other Sea-Doo model, and that's because they want you to have fun with this thing. So you crank that jet all the way up and the nose of this Sea-Doo just lifts right out of the water, and you get those water wheelies that I was talking about. Now also to accommodate that, you have these steps back here right at the end of the running boards. So essentially once that machine's up like this, you actually have something solid to stand on, which is a pretty smart little innovation from Sea-Doo. Now this machine uses the Rotax 900cc high output engine, so it gets 90 horsepower. The regular Spark just gets 60 horsepower, and sure, those numbers don't sound massive, but that's not what this machine is really about. It's all about having fun, being lightweight, and being kind of nimble. Now the lightweight is another big story here. The dry weight on this Spark is just over 400 pounds. It's insanely light. So even though you don't have big power, you also don't have a big weight to push around. Now let's take a look at the storage here on the Spark, and it is pretty sparse, but this is a pretty small model. So first of all, of course, you have the glove box, which isn't too deep, but more than enough for a phone, wallet, and your keys. Now normally this nose space is reserved for more storage, but here on the Spark, it's just this entirely open spot, and I think that's mostly for weight savings, right? They really wanted to keep this thing nice and light. It also lets you take on water right through the front there, and this thing will sort of cut through the water if you're submarining. So it's really been designed for fun and for doing tricks. And when it comes to practicality like storage, yeah, there is not a ton. And real quick, let's take a look underneath the seat. There's a handle here at the back. She pops off. So that is where your fuel filler is. And then of course, there is your fire extinguisher. And if you do need to get to the engine compartment, you can see right there, there is a little access hatch. So you pop that open, you can get down into your powertrain. Now the weight rating here is 352 pounds on this 2-seat model. If you did get a 3-seat Spark, the weight rating goes up to 450. Overall dimensions here on the Spark, we have 110 inches in length, 46 inches of width, and the total height is just 42 inches. Now one last change for 2019 before we go hit the water, and that is of course the color packages. Can-Am, BRP, Sea-Doo, all of these companies, Skidoo, they roll out new colors every single year, and what we're looking at here is called jalapeno and pear. Sea-Doo doesn't even give its colors color names, it gives it food names because they like to say it's deliciously fun. And is that true? Well, that's enough talking stationary. Let's hit the water and find out. Everybody, now we're out here sitting on the Spark Trixx, and let me start by saying that this thing is an absolute ton of fun. but not in the same way that other Sea-Doo models are a ton of fun. This Spark is really defined by its lightweight, and that just means that when you get it out on the water, the positives are that your body weight plays a really crucial role in how it rides. You can throw it around by shifting your weight around. You can really move the hull in the water. And then of course the negatives are the stability. It's not really all that stable. Even when you're sitting here, you know, it doesn't feel like I couldn't not roll it. It feels like I could roll it. And also when you're getting beat up by the waves, they do push you around quite a bit. But that's the point, exactly the point, and that's what makes it so fun, is you have this small, nimble, lightweight little toy underneath you, and you're really much more sort of in touch with the water and the waves and what they're doing. On a big heavy model like a GTX or an RTX, you nail the throttle and that thing just plows through whatever's in front of you. Here on the Spark, there's a bit more carving involved, a bit more nuance, but that's what makes it a much more connecting ride. And you can see here, I'm not even turning the handlebars. I'm just using my feet and my weight to turn the machine. And that's truly key with the Spark, is once you really get sort of the dynamics of it and how it reacts to your weight, you can control it without using the bars. That was all just shifting my weight on my feet, and it really is fun. And when you get really good at it, you can make this thing do all sorts of neat stuff. On the Trixx model, we get the high output engine, so this is 90 horsepower, and that doesn't sound like a lot. It doesn't feel like a ton either, but because of the light weight of this thing, it does get it up to speed fairly quickly. Now, we are gonna do a top speed run to see where this thing maxes out with my big frame on it, so let's take a look. Now I wanna see what the top speed is on this Spark Trixx. So first of all, you can see that's the small little screen that this Trixx model gets. It doesn't get the big 7-inch screen that's on the bigger Sea-Doo models. And the fact that it's sort of down below the handlebars is a little bit annoying because you have to look down to see it. But, you know, there's not a lot of real estate on this thing, so they sort of shoved it in where it would fit. And frankly, when you're doing slow speed water wheelies, it doesn't really matter how fast you're going. Anyways, top speed run. Let's find out how fast the Spark will go with me on it. Let's do it. The brakes too, and the brakes feel really nice on this thing. Just like the bigger models, when you do nail that brake, the machine stays nice and flat. It doesn't get scary or nosedive or anything like that. So 45 miles per hour, that's as much as I could get out of this Spark. A lighter person could probably get a bit more. So sure, that's not, you know, an insane top speed by any means, but it's more than enough to have some fun. Next up are the handlebars, and these make a significant difference. When you're standing up, and on this Trixx model, you really want to be standing up a lot. It's really ergonomic to have the bars that much higher. When the bars don't adjust, you end up in this position where you're all the way straight up, but your arms are at full extension. It doesn't feel comfortable, and for aggressive riding, you want to feel as comfortable as possible to make you feel more confident. And that's exactly what this riser does. It makes you feel more confident. So on the Spark, the trim adjusts more than any other Sea-Doo model, and as you see here, it allows you to get that nose right up out of the water. Now, I was having some fun with it too, and let me first say, before you see what happened to me, it is easy to get on this thing for the very first time and do a water wheelie. It's easy to get on and do tricks right off the bat, no skill or experience required. However, there's definitely some nuance to it. You can see me here falling off. There's one other thing about the trim I want to tell you, and it's just that it works incredibly fast. You can actually go from being up water wheeling to nose diving and essentially submarining this thing just about instantly. You just click, 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 and that thing just, boom, shoots right down. So adjusting the VTS on the move is really responsive on the Spark. That's another fun thing about PWCs, and specifically about the Spark Trixx, is when you're doing those water wheelies, it's slow speed. You're barely moving. There's essentially no danger at all, and as long as you got the tether attached to you, you fall off, the machine dies, you climb right back on. It's not that big a deal, and that's actually really great for learning as well. Now, when it does come time to climb back on, I will say, not the easiest machine to get onto. There is a step back there. It's a small little skinny step, and if you are a heavy dude like me, when you climb on the back, you pull the whole rear end down underwater. The footwells fill up with water. Yeah, just not the easiest thing to climb back up onto, and that is because of its lightweight. Oh, and another thing that makes the water wheelies easy are those footrests back there at the back of the footwells. You get that nose up in the air, you move your feet back, you got the handlebars right up close to your chest. Everything about this machine is just designed to go out there and have silly amounts of fun. Now, comfort on this machine isn't really great. It has this really skinny sort of dirt bike style seat almost. So sort of for, you know, long rides, hours of comfort, this is not necessarily the machine you want. And then I would not want to be a passenger on this PWC. I'm not going to lie to you. I know sitting back there would feel sketchy because of how light this thing is. And once again, a lighter person than me, sure, it'd probably be easier. But yeah, if I'm buying a machine specifically because I want to take people for rides, I'm probably not going to get a Spark. But it's hard to argue with the price point. Take a look here and I'll break down all the prices for the Spark. What's the verdict? Well, let me say that it's clear the Spark Trixx is not for everyone. This is a model that you want to get it on the water and ride it hard. And if you do, it will return smiles all day long. Add on to that how affordable this thing is, and I can almost guarantee that if you pick up a Spark Trixx, it will make you have just as much fun as PWC's twice the price. So guys, that's it for this review. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and then come right back here to the channel for the latest news, views, and real world reviews. Now, if you'll excuse me, there are more water wheelies to be done. See ya!